and I want to put this, on something like Vimeo or YouTube, or upload it for someone to look at, I can go ahead and add this to the render queue, and that's going to open up Adobe Media Encoder. So you can see that loading down here. And we're going to wait for this to load. Okay, it will pop up in the queue, just give it a minute. Okay, so I have the Vimeo 1080p Full HD preset selected. You can choose another one if you really want to, but this is the one I prefer. And now we're going to choose a folder. And remember, I like to use that the videos folder to keep everything straight. So I'm just going to call this animatic 2. Let's go ahead and click save and click play. And then we'll go through and render that out as a video file that you can stream. Okay, we're finished. Let's take a look at our new file. All right, here it is. Let's double click and open it here in QuickTime and just play it back. Okay, so the key takeaway here is not that you've made the world's best animation, it's that you've blocked out your animation so you can make decisions. For instance, how fast do you want this character to come out? Is the sound working? What other elements need to be animated to make it feel like it's kind of coming alive here? And then you can identify other issues, like maybe your animation isn't looping quite as well as you would have hoped it was. Okay, so that does it for producing the animatic. One of the nice things is if you put this much work in producing your animatic, you're basically almost done editing your final animation as well. Because what you can do is essentially replace your renders with your final renders. As long as your frame ranges don't change, and any of the timing doesn't really change, you're able to basically go ahead and, instead of rendering out, let me go ahead and open up Blender here. Okay, so if we wanted to swap those viewport renders in After Effects with something that looks more like this, which is, in my case, this is what the final render quality is. All you have to do is change that folder. You could overwrite them. I don't recommend overwriting your files. But what you could do is make a new folder and call it, final renders, or you could, we could make a new folder called cam1 underscore, spell it right, and then, we could have something like final render. And so this could be the same exact scene with some additional animation completed to make it final, and with the final render quality configured. And then you could save it into this folder. So if I click accept, now when I render this scene out, instead of doing render viewport animation, we're actually going to go up to render, and we're going to do render animation. And now it's going to use the full settings configured here to render out into these image sequences. Again, you're not seeing this in my case because I have not actually completed the animation. So you're seeing basically a much nicer rendered animatic, somewhere between a final render and an animatic. Okay, and then you could see here that it's putting those in place here. So just to show you what this all looks like, or what the process is, I'm going to go ahead and stop this, and we're going to open up another After Effects composition. So I'm going to save this. I'm not sure why that keeps happening. Let's try that again. We're going to save that here, and we're going to just open we're going to open this one here. All right, so I've actually moved things around. If you see these broken footage links, you can go ahead and reconnect these. So if I did replace or reload, let's see if I can reload. No, it doesn't automatically find it. Replace, and we need to navigate to our folder. So in my case, the original one was the animatic renders, and then because I've named it appropriately, I can easily find it here. So it's going to be this one. And we want to have the first one selected, ping checked, click open. And it looks like it may have found these. I'm not sure. Yeah, okay, so we should be good there. And so what you'll notice is that it now kind of appears here. If it wasn't before, if it was broken, you can go ahead and reload that. But that kind of points to an interesting idea that if you can reload missing footage in general, why couldn't you do that with the final renders? So if I was to just go and replace this with, instead of my animatic renders, down to my final renders, we can choose the same composition here, select the first one, and now what you see is all of my edits are kept intact, but now I can drop in my final renders. So I can go down through the line and just go ahead and replace all of these. So 144. Okay. Okay, let's go ahead and see what this looks like. This is the previous scene that I made, so a lot of my edits are going to be different. It looks like it can't find some of my audio, so I'm going to go ahead and see if I can reconnect these. Okay, and so it found the other ones as well, which is nice when that happens automatically. Let's go ahead and do a preview. Click play, wait for it to load. You can see I did a bit of additional animation there with the intro graphics. Okay, so that's the process of taking an animatic that was fully edited with audio and different shots, and being able to drop in final animation frames. And you probably would save yourself tons of time just to be able to do that process. As long as you don't change too many things, then you should be in a good position to do that. But you would export in the exact same way you did before. You do export Adobe Media, and then it adds it here. Select your folder, and then export, and then you've got your final animation file. Okay, so that concludes the demonstration for creating an animatic of a scene, blocking animation, setting up your cameras, configuring scene configurations, slowing and remapping time within Blender to give yourself some variation when you're in the editing process in After Effects. And then as well as using some of After Effects built-in tools to change opacity and change the loudness of sound. And then to add some credits and anything else that you might need to create your animations.